Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling something that's in pretty much everyone's kitchen: sugar. More specifically, we're diving deep into the World Health Organization's official guideline on how much is too much.
So first things first, why did the world's top health organization feel the need to issue a global guideline on sugar? Well, to get that, we have to look at a massive health challenge they were up against.
Get this number in your head: 68%. Back in 2012, that was the percentage of all deaths worldwide caused by what we call non-communicable diseases, things like heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. And this wasn't just a problem for wealthy countries, it was actually hitting low and middle-income nations the hardest.
So, what was driving this crisis? Well, a huge factor was our diets. And as experts really dug into the data, one particular culprit kept popping up over and over again, something they specifically call free sugars.
Okay, so this term, free sugars, is absolutely essential to understanding the whole guideline. Because it turns out, not all sugars are the same in the eyes of the WHO. So what exactly makes a sugar free? Here's the official definition, and this is where it starts to get really interesting. Free sugars includes all the obvious stuff, right? The sugar you add to your coffee, the sugar baked into a cake. But, and this is the part that surprises a lot of people, it also includes sugars that seem natural, like honey, maple syrup, and even the sugar in a glass of 100% pure fruit juice.
And this slide makes that distinction crystal clear. You see, the sugar that's naturally bound up inside a whole apple with all its fiber, that's not considered a free sugar. Same for the lactose in a glass of milk. The WHO is targeting the sugars that have been freed from their original source. Why? Because without all that fiber to slow it down, that sugar hits our system much, much faster.
Okay, so now we know exactly what we're talking about with free sugars. So how much are we supposed to have? The WHO boiled all the science down to two key numbers.
First up is their strong recommendation. They say we should keep our free sugar intake to less than 10% of our total daily calories. Now, when the WHO calls a recommendation strong, it means the evidence is really solid, and this is a target that pretty much everyone should be aiming for.
But they didn't stop there. They also added what they call a conditional recommendation, which basically says that if you can get your intake down to below 5%, you'll see even greater health benefits. Now, for an average adult, 5% is only about 25 grams, or 6 teaspoons for the entire day. That's really not a lot.
So you might be asking, where did these numbers even come from? Were they just picked out of a hat? No way. They are the result of a massive, comprehensive review of all the best scientific evidence connecting free sugars to our health. And when they looked at all that science, the review found that the strongest, most consistent evidence for the harm of free sugars fell into two key areas: our body weight and our teeth. The evidence was just overwhelming. Study after study showed this direct link for adults. When you eat less free sugar, you tend to lose weight. When you eat more, you tend to gain it. And the connection for kids who drank a lot of sugary drinks was especially clear. And for our teeth, the science was just undeniable. The moment people's intake went above that 10% threshold, the rates of cavities just shot way, way up. And look, this isn't just a minor problem. Dental diseases are actually the most common non-communicable diseases on the entire planet. The cost to treat them is absolutely astronomical, and it puts a massive strain on healthcare systems everywhere.
So, we've looked at the global problem, we've seen the science, we've heard the recommendations, but what does this actually look like on your plate? Let's bring this all home. Ultimately, this is all about becoming a more conscious consumer. Think of your daily calories like a budget. You only have so much to spend, and you want to get the most nutritional value you can for it. The big question is, how much of your daily budget are you spending on sugar? And this right here gets to the heart of why free sugars are such a big deal. They're often called empty calories. They give you energy, sure, but they bring almost nothing else to the party. No vitamins, no minerals, no fiber. And they can very easily push more nutritious foods right off your plate.
So this guideline really isn't just some document for governments. It's a tool for all of us. It's meant to empower you to look at a food label, to understand what you're really seeing, and to make a conscious choice. And it leaves us with a final, really personal question. How much free sugar is hiding in your diet? And what's maybe one small change you could make today?